Hi everyone, this is Sarah from SRS Designs, and today I'm going to show you how to make this little figurine of Bob from the movies Monsters vs. Aliens. I made this, I posted it on my Instagram about over a year ago, and I had a couple of people asking me for it, and since I've got my channel up and running, I thought I would go ahead and do my first on the Loom tutorial. So this is Bob. He takes 129 of the turquoise jelly bands. I'm using 2 white and 1 brown for his eye and 1 black band for his mouth. So let's get started. So we're using a rainbow loom, and you need a loom where you can adjust, because he is made using the loom where the 3 pegs are at the same height. It's not staggered. We will be using double bands for this entire project. So we are going to start by putting 2 bands across the top in both spots, just like that. And now we're going to put 2 bands down the entire length of the loom. And we're going to do it on all 3 rows, all the way down. My son was obsessed with this movie after we first saw it, and he watched it all the time. Every time he got a chance to pick the movie, he would pick NBA, NBA. So I've seen it a lot, and Bob is one of my favorite characters. Although, of course, I love Susan. They made a cartoon of the show, and I also watched that. We were watching that for a while too. So we're just going to keep going down. Two bands. You're going to want to get your bands as even and as pretty looking as possible, as it makes your figurine look a little bit better if your bands are even. So 2 bands down all 3 rows. So it should look like that. First we did 2 across, and then we went with bands all the way down. And now that we're at the bottom, we are going to put 2 bands from the middle out to the left and out to the right. Just like that. And we're going to push them down. I'm going to take 1 single band, and I'm going to wrap it around this middle peg 3 times as a cat band. A little bit. Just like that. Now, Bob is wider than the 3 rows. He's skinnier at the top, and then he puffs out. So we're going to be putting a 2nd row of bands on the 1st column and on the 3rd column so that we can make him a bit wider. And we're going to start on the 4th peg down. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This is where we're going to start. So we're going to push our bands down on the ends, because we are going to add a 2nd row of bands. So 1, 2, 3, 4 down from the top, and you're just going to lay them right on top of the bands that were there. So from that band, you're going to go all the way down the end to the bottom. from the 4th down. So now we have 2 sets of rows on the columns 1 and 2. So here's our first. So you can see here, we've got, starting on the 4th one down, we have got double bands all the way down. So we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Starting with 4, the 4th peg down, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So here's our first. Just like that. And now we need horizontal bands to keep Bob squished together, otherwise the columns would not be connected. So you're going to take a single band and you're going to stretch it across all 3 pegs, and it's going on top, on the ends it's going on top of those double columns that we have. Just going all the way up. Actually, not all the way up. So here we are, stopping at our, right here where our double rows are. You want to stop right there. On this peg right here, we're going to put a black cap band. That is going to be Bob's mouth. Then we're going to put a crossover band there. Now we need to make Bob's eyes. And to do that, we're going to take I'm going to take a white band. I'm going to wrap it around my hook twice. I'm going to grab that, wrap it around again. I'm going to repeat with a brown band. So they're wrapped around 4 times. And then I'm going to repeat with another white band. So I've got a white band, a brown band, and a white band, and they're both wrapped around 4 times. I'm going to slide all of this carefully onto a blue jelly band, and I want them to be, I don't want the colors to overlap. I want them to be separated because this is going to be his eye. Now where we're going to put that is right here on our loom. This is our crossover band for the eye spot, just like that. So there's your loom. And now we need to get started with looping. So what we're going to do is we're going to start in the middle. We're going to go underneath our cap band. We're going to grab the top 2 blue bands and we're going to pull them over to the left. Grab the next 2 set of bands out of that center peg, and mine are going to go to the left. Now we are going to go, you can start on the left side or the right side. We are going to go underneath the bands and we're going to grab the 2 top horizontal bands. I'm sorry, vertical bands. Oops. We just want these 2 top ones. So we're going to go underneath and grab those 2 bands and loop it up. We're just going to loop up the top row that we're on. The top 2 bands, not the bottom ones. So we still have this row underneath. We're just looping the top. So you're going to want to do that all the way up, just grabbing the top 2 bands. Oops. Get back on there, dude. All right, so just there. And we're going to go all the way up to where this column. and that's where we stop. We're going to repeat the same on the other side. We're going to go back underneath the band that we looped on the side here. We're going to grab the top 2 bands. There's one, where's the second? And loop them up. Okay, so both of our sides are looped now. Now we need to pop them off so we can loop what's underneath. So I'm going to put my finger right here at the top. This band is not secured. I'm going to hold it, and I'm going to take the top row and I'm going to pull it off to the side. And I want to make sure that my horizontal band stays over the row. So I'm just going to pop it off with my hook, just like this. And I always want to make sure that I'm not losing any bands that I'm going to need underneath. We're just popping these top ones off, just like that. And that one's going to go, I'm just going to push it around the side. So we're going to do the same on this side. Okay, so I'm going to hold my finger over here so I don't lose it. I'm just going to pop that top row off. Making sure that my horizontal bands stay over the pegs. And I'm just going to push this one over to the side. All right, so that was our first step. Now we have to loop up all the way up the rest. So we're going to dig down to the bottom, grab the bottom 2 bands, and we're going to loop them up. So that's 1, 2, and 3. Going to do all of the columns. And go, if you're going to go ahead, I'll go up to here and don't go past where we did those edges, because we need to do the mouth band. Those were all of the bands through where we did the double row. Now we're going to continue to loop. And for this row, I'm going to take off the horizontal band. And I'm going to loop the top, the middle only, over the mouth. And now we want to get the mouth band to cover here. So I'm going to take my hook. I'm going to go up and underneath, grab that black band and slide it onto here. And then I'm going to take my hook, put it up, grab those top 2 bands, and put my horizontal band back. So then I'm going to go pushing back my horizontal bands and looping up the rest. And I'm looping right over the eye We're gonna fix it in a bit. And then let's loop. Okay. So now all of the columns have been looped up, and you might want to tip it on the side just to make sure you've gotten them all. And now we're going to be looping these bands on the side across the top into the middle. So then we're going to take 2 bands, I'm going to go down through that middle, and I'm going to pull them up, and we're going to use these to secure it. So I've gotten it. Put both ends of that band on my hook, and I'm gonna do a slip knot. And I'm gonna pull it tight. So now our little character is done. Before we pop him off, what I'm gonna do is pull out his eye. So I'm holding that horizontal band and adjusting the bands around it to make sure that his eye popped up, just like that. And then I'm gonna use my hook to carefully pop him off the loom. I've never been big on the yanking things off the loom, although it is really fun. So I'm just going to use the hook to loosen it all. And here it is, all done. Ta-da! There's Bob. This is a little bit stretched out. Like I said, this one I made 1.5 years ago, so it's had plenty of time to relax. So you just want to straighten it up. And I'm gonna turn him over, tightening those securing bands. And I'm going to hide them in the back. Just to zip it right there. So that was it. That was Bob, pretty easy. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Whoops, hey, you're not supposed to pop out. Jelly bands, sometimes they just don't behave. They are super slippery. There we go. So that's Bob. Like I said, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Also, remember to subscribe to my channel because I want you to find out when I have new things coming out. If you've made a Bob or some other version of this, I'd love to see it on my Instagram. You can find me at SRS Designs. Have a great day and keep looming.